Shiny light on me, I need the top. Shiny light, oh no.
Hi-lo, everybody. All right, let's get into this. Google now working with liberal groups to target conservative websites. Partners with ProPublica, BuzzFeed News, and Southern Poverty Law Center. Well, that doesn't sound horrifying or in any way. Free speech ain't what it used to be. The anarcho-communists on the left are using the made-up kerfuffle over President Trump supposedly embracing white supremacists to crack down on whatever they decide they just don't like. And now tech giant Google is getting in on the game. Never let a good crisis go to waste. Under the guise of rooting out hate, the search engine company is launching a new machine learning tool to help journalists covering hate news leverage this data in their reporting, Google said in a blog post. The Documenting Hate News Index, built by the Google News Lab, Data Visualization Studio Pitch Interactive, and ProPublica, takes a raw feed of Google News articles from the past 6 months and uses the Google Cloud Natural Language API to create a visual tool to help reporters find news happening across the country. It's a constantly updating snapshot of data from this year, one which is valuable as a starting point to reporting on this area of news. Well, I don't have much to say there except for, does this sound like something that a search engine company should be doing? Working in conjunction with the media like this? I mean, they're already working in conjunction with government, which, I mean, this collusion between Google, the media, and government is frightening, terrifying, Orwellian, if you will. The Documenting Hate project, launched in response to the lack of national data on hate crimes. Well, the FBI is required by law to collect data about hate crimes. The data is incomplete because local jurisdictions aren't required to report incidents up to the federal government. You are not the FBI. You're not the police. You're a search engine. Stopping hate is not your job. Give me search results. Give me my search results. That's all I care about, Google. All of which underlines the value of the Documenting Hate project, which is powered. Notice that they don't describe what hate is. It's just hate. Hate. What is hate? Define it, please. They won't, because they want to use it in a blanket term to shut people up. And when I mean that, I mean the radical progressives that basically they want their Marxist revolution. They don't call themselves Marxists, they're progressives. They'll progress to it. It's not revolution, it's evolution. Which is powered by a number of different news organizations and journalists who collect, news organizations and journalists. They're trustworthy, who collect and verify reports of hate crimes and events. Documenting Hate is informed by both reports from members of the public and raw Google news data of stories. You know what it almost sounds like to me? It sounds like they're actually deputizing journalists and the media to do the job of the FBI and police.
I think that the dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts, and it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think, and that is our job.
Yeah. The entire effort is spearheaded by ProPublica.
ProPublica, journalism in the public interest. ProPublica is an independent, nonprofit newsroom that produces investigative journalism in the public interest. Our work focuses exclusively on truly important stories with moral force. We do this by producing journalism that shines light on the exploitation of the weak by the strong and on the failures of those with power to vindicate the trust placed in them.
Warning, warning, George Soros organization detected.
PGM Media noted, poses as a middle-of-the-road nonprofit journalistic operation, but in reality it's funded by the stable of uber-liberal donors, including George Soros' Open Society Foundations.
Called it.
Of course it's Soros. course Soros is involved. He has his tentacles in everything. Everything progressive, that is. And Herb and Marion Sandler, don't know who they are, billionaire former mortgage bankers from Golden West Financial Corp, allegedly targeted subprime borrowers with pick-a-pay mortgage that led to toxic assets that were blamed for the collapse of Wachovia. Holy crap, it's the same people again and again and again involved in this cesspool, and now they're involved in censorship. Oh my goodness gracious. Can't we just put these people in jail? No, sorry. Let me rephrase that. Can't we just charge these people with crimes and have them go through the judicial system, and the judicial system find them guilty and put them in jail if they're guilty? Thank you. The Southern Poverty Law Center, of course, is infamous for targeting legitimate conservative groups, branding them as hate groups because they refuse to walk in lockstep with the progressive agenda, PJ reported. Yeah, oh, really? No, the Southern Poverty Law Center incorrectly describes conservatives as hate groups? Gee, it's almost like they're disingenuous and have an agenda or something, as opposed to being a quote-unquote watchdog of racism. Kind of like Media Matters is a watchdog for the media. If you can't see that, I did quotes there for a second. This video is absolutely jizzing with sarcasm. And if Christy Winters is watching, then I'll explain this to her. I don't need to do indicators of sarcasm when I'm doing a video. You can hear it in my voice. It's easy enough to figure out the direction of this project by taking it for a test drive. The search for Scalise returned 4 results, one of which didn't even mention Steve Scalise, the congressman who was shot by a crazed leftist in June. A search for Trump during the same time period yielded more than 200 results. A search of the raw data resulted in 1,178 hits for Trump and not a single mention of Scalise. Well, that's because the shooting didn't happen. If it's not on Google, it didn't happen. Of course. It's a right-wing lie that he got shot, that Republicans were shot, that the left engages in violence. No, they're peaceful protesters against racism. How can you accuse them of being violent? They're peaceful protesters. Sorry, media, you're not BSing me on this. I know your game. I've been studying you. I know how you work. I've seen you work for 8 years. You're not going to put one past on me. I know what's going on. The new group is getting in touch with editors and creators of websites. Okay, well, that sounds ominous. With ProPublica reporter Lauren Kirchner writing in an email to them. We have a name. Excellent. I am a reporter at ProPublica, a nonprofit investigative newsroom in New York. I am contacting you to let you know that we are including your website in a list of sites that have been designated as hate or extremist by the American Defamation League or the Southern Poverty Law Center, both reputable institutions. We have identified all the tech platforms that are supporting websites on the ADL and SPLC lists. Yeah. Okay, Commissar. Well, we must obey the party. Whoa, hey, wait a minute. The American Defamation League, isn't it supposed to be the Anti-Defamation League? There's no anti in there. It's the American Defamation League. They're pro-defamation. Holy shit, that's got to be a typo. And I wonder who, it's either the writer of this article or it's the actual email that the person sent. Holy shit, the American Defamation League, which means they're pro-defamation. I'm pretty sure that's a typo, but that's hilarious. So now we return to the email from the party. We would like to ask you a few questions. Do you disagree with the designation of your website as hate or extremist? Why? We identified several tech companies on your website: PayPal, Amazon, Newsmax, and Rev Content, whatever that is. Can you confirm that you receive funds from your relationship with those tech companies? How would the loss of those funds affect your operations? And how would you be able to replace them? Holy shit. I know exactly what this is. This is McCarthyism. This is McCarthyism. This is the Red Scare. This is Senator, have you no shame? This is, have you been or ever been a member of the Communist Party? I mean, it just in reverse. Now it's the communists doing it. Number 3, have you been shut down by other tech companies for being an alleged hate or extremist website? Which companies? Good God, it is a blacklist. Many people opposed to sites like yours are currently pressuring tech companies to cease their relationships with them. What is your view of this campaign? Why? What do you think it is? And you, sir or madam, are basically behaving like the mob, shaking down conservative websites. Absolutely disgusting. And then there's the ringleaders at CNN, has published a list of hate groups compiled, of course, by the Southern Poverty Law Center, which includes plain old conservative groups like the David Horowitz Freedom Center, Family Research Council, and Act for America. Also, I believe it's got David Barton's Wall Builders, which is basically about telling the correct history of the Founding Fathers. Warts and all, you know. Now, I have given the Southern Poverty Law Center a lot of grief here today, but to be fair, they are not entirely out of control, as they do include groups that you would not expect a leftist group to include on, like black separatist groups like the Black Panthers and Louis Farrakhan, who, let's be honest, Louis Farrakhan has said some very despicable things. So credit where credit is due here. I just think that they try too hard to put people on there that just to balance the scales or whatever. I don't know. Like the Tea Party, which the Tea Party didn't have an ounce of violence associated with it that I'm aware of. And they include they too often include Christian groups whose beliefs is against gay marriage, and that is part that they are somewhat bigoted against Christians and religion. But credit.
Shiny light,